Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Aniagolu. Now, when the Nigerian-born American George Onuorah stepped to the podium in Queens, New York, and officially launched his campaign as a 21st district candidate for city council, the supporters who stood with him represented a broad church of ethnicities and races. And that is as it should be, because like other first-generation American candidates for local, state, and nationwide office, Mr. Onourah has had to overcome a series of obstacles to get to that day. Many in his diverse community of Lefrak in Queens can relate to the challenges he's faced, including having to deal with the struggles of being the immigrant and often having to prove that they are not there to take advantage of the system but to help strengthen it. Well, after winning numerous awards, including one from the US Congress in recognition of his efforts to help improve his community and inspire the youth, Mr. Onuorah decided to throw his hat into the ring and will be the first Nigerian to do so in District 21. And George Onuorah joins me now from Queens in New York. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. How much of a struggle has it been for you as a first-generation immigrant to get to be a candidate in New York City Council elections? What sort of obstacles have you had to overcome?
Thank you, Charles. For that question, the obstacle that I had to overcome is quite monumental. Coming from Nigeria, it hasn't been easy because Nigerians here in the United States and here in New York has not really asserted themselves into the political process because of apathy and I don't know, many of us have not really immersed ourselves in the politics of the United States. But one of the challenges is our inability to organize a coalition of Nigerians or Africans so that we can be able to leverage that to compete in the races. Many other races have done that. The Hispanic, the Chinese, South Asians, and other ethnic nationalities have come together to play vital roles in the political process. But so the challenge I have is building a coalition that will be able to help in electing me as a city councilman in the 21st district here in Queens. And of course, you know, you have financial challenges. Money is what is used to run for elected office at this point in time, especially with the COVID pandemic. Everything is done virtual and through mailers and all kinds of things, and that require money to achieve. So the challenge is money, and then being able to galvanize the support of Nigerians and other immigrants to form a coalition, a winning coalition for that matter.
I mean, I would like to talk with you a little bit later about those challenges and what you've done so far. But we know that New York is, generally speaking, a liberal Democrat-controlled city. But I wonder if you've encountered Republican Trump supporters, for instance, who oppose you and see you as an immigrant who's come to America to take opportunities away from them or to take advantage of the system.
That's the things that you encounter every now and then. But like you said, New York is a liberal state. It's like the ratio of Democrat to Republican is even more than 5-1. So, and especially Queens, where I'm currently competing, once you get through the primary, you are sure in to win the general election because the Republicans are irrelevant in that metric. So, but you encounter one or little opposition here and there, but not enough to make any stop one from moving forward.
And obviously, you're trying to get through that primary stage, which I think is going to be happening in a few months from now. And in terms of why you see yourself as qualified to run for office in New York City's 21st district. You've had quite a bit of experience, I understand, serving that community, haven't you? Tell us about that.
Yes, I've been immersed in politics. First of all, I studied political science in college. And besides that, my political experience came with me from Nigeria. Being a member of the Boy Scout, I was able to understand leadership. And in my high school days in Nigeria, I was the senior prefect of the school. And coming to the United States, I've served my community board, which is a local legislature type of environment where you help to shape the conversation about what happens in your community. I've also served as a liaison to the city council, allowing me to understand the in and out of the workings of the New York City legislative structure. And I've also been a grassroots organizer, fighting for causes that are dear to my constituency. So with all that put together has provided me the necessary tools that I need to go in and then actually be successful in this race. So my experience runs an entire gamut. As you said, I've been recognized for my activism in my community. I've had over 5 United States congressional awards and over 2 dozen others. And this is stemming from the work I've done, humanitarian and so on and so forth. So I'm able to leverage that in this conversation and looking forward to move the community forward. So compared to who I'm running against, these folks continue to think in the old ways, but I want to be a forward, futuristic candidates, trying to get us past the pandemic, which has upended the economy as we know it.
Yes, and what would it mean to you, George, and to your native country, Nigeria, if you won?
Wow. Anyway, first of all, it will be a big deal because no Nigerian has ever attempted what I'm doing now, much less win. So this will be a first. It will be historic. It will be an earthquake kind of in the political horizon. If, like I'm expecting, we are going to win this race because it's going to be a big deal for Nigeria. It's going to help lift Nigeria up, Africa up. And I'm very excited and looking for doing the necessary things, hoping that we'll be able to galvanize even more support so that, we'll come up on top as I envision this race to be.
So your campaign is underway at the moment. What does that entail? I mean, are you going from door to door? Is it different because of COVID? I mean, and also, what are you actually campaigning on?
Because of COVID, we are limited on how much we can have an in-person conversation, no rallies every once in a while. What we rely on is remote campaign. And we are doing so with safe guidelines as per the health, to obey the social distances and to be careful how we do it. So, and we have been doing this and hope that works out very well. And we're using Zoom and other type of communication to do so. But what happens is that, to do that requires money to be able to get your messages across media. Because you have to do mailing and you have to do robocalls and all kinds of connectivity to reach the constituency that you are looking to get to vote for you, to vote for us.
Right. Well, just tell us more about the position you're actually running for in the New York City council. What does the job entail? What sort of work are you going to be doing there if you won?
Yeah, the work I'm planning to do in the city council, first of all, we have 51 city council members representing New York City. So I will be one of those New York City council members. And what they are is comparable to the House of Assembly in the states in Nigeria. So what you do is you work with the mayor to work on budget for New York City, health issues, and different areas of governance. You, as a legislative body, you debate, discuss, and you have committees on immigration and so on and so forth. So you do that, and then with the budget process, you have budget committees that will work on the budget, and after which you negotiate with the mayor and see and have compromises, and then come up with best solution, how to move the budget forward and to take care of different constituencies within the New York City community. So that's what a New York City member does. But for me, the issues I'm working on how to help small businesses grow and thrive. Like I said earlier, the pandemic has devastated businesses. Many of the businesses have folded. So one of the things I will do is to help encourage the city and the state to provide additional stimulus to small businesses so that they will begin to regenerate and reactivate businesses. And then we are also planning to help provide within the city council legislation to help cut some of the red tapes that impede small businesses from growth. I'm also concerned about public safety. In New York City, we have had challenges with people that are mentally challenged and homeless attacking people every now and then, and that has been an issue. So I will encourage working together between the NYPD, that is the police department, and the various communities to come together to be able to trust each other, to work to maintain public safety, because we need to feel safe walking the streets. Otherwise, it's a problem for everybody. So people have to feel safe in New York City, instead of being afraid of somebody is going to hit you in the head and or kill you or something like that.
Okay, well, I understand that District 21, where you have your candidacy, is a very ethnically diverse community. Does that make it more or less difficult for you? Because we know that ethnic communities tend to vote for people with whom they share an ethnic background or identity. And you've got about 30 seconds, so keep it brief.
Oh, okay. So the area is the most ethnically diverse in the whole of United States, if not the world. But what happened is that because of our shared immigrant experience, we tend to gravitate to helping one another. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to mobilize enough of these immigrants so that I'll be able to win the election with the help of other immigrants such as myself.
Stay with us, George. We'll want to talk with you some more. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our chat with George Onuorah, a Nigerian in New York City who's a candidate for City Council in the 21st District of Queens. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Onyegola. Now, my guest today, George Onuorah, is arguably the first Nigerian to run as a candidate for City Council in New York City's 21st District of Queens. And according to one American newspaper, he's possibly the most qualified of the candidates, considering the fact that he's not only lived in the area for nearly 35 years, He's already served as a liaison to the City Council, as well as chair of the Consumer Affairs Committee there, not to mention his many years of service as a community organizer in the district he's hoping to represent, fighting for the rights of residents there and standing up for social justice for its many ethnicities, races and religions. And George Onuorah, candidate for New York City Council, is still with me from New York. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. And I know that earlier you mentioned that you were trying to reach out to many Nigerians who are in America and in the New York area. Are there a lot of Nigerians in District 21 in that New York City, Queens area? I mean, where you are you counting on their support to help you win? Have you reached out to them?
Yes, I continue to reach out to all demographics, especially Nigerians. But, it's work in progress. Yes, I'm doing so, as well as reaching out to others, because Nigerians alone cannot let me. So I know that I have to build a coalition, and that's what I'm doing. Trying to mobilize people from all corners of the world, all ethnicity, all religion, all people from all backgrounds, because that's how the victory is going to be achieved.
And I mean, I'm wondering, George, do you consider yourself to be more of a fully integrated American who now calls New York your home, or would you consider returning to Nigeria at some point and possibly getting into politics here?
Well, my original aim was to come to the United States, spend 2 years and go back and follow the my vision to become a legislator in Nigeria. I've always admired the great Zik of Africa, who I was fortunate to meet. But unfortunately, I've spent almost 40 years in the United States. This is home, but you can never say never. But right now, I'm focused on this race to win the race in the 21st Council District in New York. That's my goal, and I hope to achieve that.
Well, absolutely. Well, let's focus on that then, because of course New York City in general and Queens in particular was ravaged by the coronavirus pandemic, and its economy has been equally devastated by COVID-19. As a candidate for City Council, what are your plans for helping your district to recover beyond saying, as you did earlier, that you'd like to help them recover?
Well, there are many things that we have to do. In fact, where I'm sitting right now is just about a couple of miles from the epicenter of the pandemic, Amherst Hospital, where we had 13 folks die within a 24-hour period. So one of the things we have to do is to recover, to post-pandemic, to recover safely, get the business going again, and then also for us to continue doing those things that the health advisors have given us, like wearing our mask and maintaining social distances, and then staying out, quarantining if we are sick. So there are so many things we have to do, but what I plan to do is to continue to encourage that we get vaccinated. I'm going to propose that we open up additional vaccination sites in my district, because when we do that, we'll be able to vaccinate more people so that they are safe from this COVID catastrophe that has wreaked havoc in many families. So we have to continue to vaccinate and maintaining those health directives that are given. And then we also have to build back the economy, because the economy is what will really sustain life within our communities. And then also we have to empower immigrants. Immigrants are the who are live in the epicenter of this district, need to continue to follow the directive. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not citizens yet. So I will also help to make sure that they obtain their legal citizenship or green card, what you call green card, so that they will be able to get a decent job to help sustain the economy and to live a happier life with their families. So these are things that I have plans to do.
Right, okay. Well, just beyond the United States, where you've been now for quite some time, just tell us a bit about your Nigerian background, where you grew up and how you ended up in the United States and New York City in particular.
Well, thank you. First of all, I was born in the Jos Plateau. It was then called Jos Plateau State, before the Nigerian Civil War. So after that, because of the Civil War, we relocated in the East. But I was fortunate to have been born into a Catholic family. And when we were growing up, we were attending catechism, learning about different things. And then we have parents that were disciplinarians. They help us to focus on getting a good education. Also, I was also able to join the Boy Scouts, where I learned volunteerism, how to serve my community, how to give back. That has followed me to the United States, but I also attended college in Anambra State, where I was chosen as the senior prefect of the school. And those were where my skills of leadership were honed and harnessed. And during those periods, I was a writer. I wanted to be a journalist, like Zeke. Zeke once said that he wanted to be a journalist of the highest order. So I was trying to follow his footsteps, and very much preoccupied on leadership, how to become a leader so that I can help my community, my country, and things of that nature. So I've always been someone that envisions the ideas of patriotism and good citizenship. So, and that has really been the hallmark of the idealism that I embedded, I've emulated. And then coming to the United States, John F. Kennedy, one of the most admired presidents of the United States, in 1961, challenged Americans. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I will never forget that. It has been in me, to do my level best to help my country grow, to help my country thrive, whether it's Nigeria, I'm still a Nigerian, of course, we have dual citizenship, and then the United States. So I'm a forward visionary with idealism of building a society of inclusive society where everyone can live happily ever after and work together for the sustenance of democracy.
Right, okay. Well, thank you for that brief rundown there. But I mean, we've got less than a minute before we have to end the chat. What do you actually do in America at the moment? I mean, when you're not running for candidate in the 21st district, what job, what do you do?
What I do, because I'm very passionate about philanthropy, I have an organization called Foundation for Sustainable Community Development Initiative. Have you leveraged this to get supplies to ship to Nigeria, medical supplies and equipment to help capacitate some of the hospitals that we have in northern Nigeria, because a lot of us that are fortunate to be in this country have much to do to help others. And that has been my thing. What am I going to do to better the life of others less fortunate than I? And then also here, I've been able to empower the youths in our local community here in Corona.
George, I want to thank you very much indeed, and we wish you all the very best. George Onuorah is a candidate for New York City Council, and he's talking to me there from New York. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja, Florida, and New York. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.